Hey, I'm Steve Krenz for Guitar Gathering. Thank you for joining us on this quick little lesson about the 15 chords that every guitarist needs to know. You know, if you boil all of the chords down, we buy our Mel Bay chord Bible, and it has 200 pages worth of chords there, and it's hard to know which ones are the important ones. Well, I'm a guitarist here in Nashville, Tennessee. I'll tell you exactly. Some chords are more important than others, and we're going to sift all of those down and get you down to the 15 most important chord forms. There's a PDF that goes along with this. It's all free. Just download that. The link is in the YouTube description down below. You can just click on that and get that free download of these chords there so you can have those out in front of you. All right, so let's talk about how did I come up with this? Did I just make this stuff up? No. What I took was the most common chord progressions, which are 1, 4, and 5, sometimes 1, 6 minor, 4, and 5, and I put those in the most common guitar keys, which is C, G, D, A, and E. Or if you want to think of it, the caged keys, a little word, C, A, G, E, and D. Those are the 5 keys that guitar players play in the most often. And there are 4 chords, 1, 6 minor, 4, and 5, that go for each one of those keys. Well, if you boil all that down, there's some overlaps and whatnot, and we're going to add an extra chord in there too for good measure. It gets us to these top 15 chords. Don't bother calling yourself a guitar player if you don't know the chords on this page. So this is a little bit of a beginner lesson. I'm going to show you the full versions, and then we're going to also talk about how you can simplify those. And if you're not, if you don't quite have a full bar or something like that, it's a little bit too hard for you, you can always simplify chords too, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But let's go through those first 15 chords first. So if you look at the first page of your PDF there, if you've played guitar for a little while, you've probably already run across these, but I thought I'd put them just in alphabetical order there so you can kind of have them out there in front of you. The first one that we run across is an A chord. Now, what you're seeing there is a chord block, the little X's. It represents the 6 strings of your guitar. It's kind of basically a picture of the end of your guitar. The X's are strings that you're not supposed to strum. The circles are strings you're supposed to strum. And then the numbers are your finger numbers of what fingers you're supposed to use. 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the chord block. So let's get started. The first one out of the gate is an A. Now, I form that as 2, second finger, third finger, pinky. I form that as that. Now, do you have to do it that way? No, you could do a bar if you want to, and a lot of guys do it that way. And sometimes you're going to need to, so there's not one right way and one wrong way. It depends on what kind of musical situation you find yourself in. But this is kind of the typical way to do that. That's an A major chord, an A major chord. Now, if you look at the next one, we have an A minor. So if I take my pinky off and put my first finger down on that second string, I have an A minor. So A major, pinky is down on the second fret of the second string. A minor, first finger is down on the second string at the first fret. Next one we're going to do is we're going to move that third finger, we'll take the first finger off, move that third finger down to the second string at the second fret, and we get the A seventh chord. So all of these chords that you're going to be learning are either major, minor, or a seventh, a dominant seventh chord. So this one has that open G on the third string in between. So make sure you got that clearly and not muting it out with, maybe your second finger is leaning down too far or whatever. There you go. There's the 3 A's. A minor, A7. Okay, those are the A's. Let's get to the B's. Okay, I'm going to show you 2 in B's. The first is a B7. Now, this is a complicated chord. Uses all 4 fingers. Don't worry if you're finding it a little difficult. It's a tough chord, so it's going to take some practice getting to it. But what do we have here? On the 5th string, we've got our second finger at the second fret. On the 4th string, we've got our first finger at the first fret. Our third finger is on the second fret on the third string, and an open B, so we want to not mute out that second string, we want it to be open. And then our pinky is going to play that first string at the second fret. Remember, don't play that low 6th string. Mute him out if you need to. You can even overshoot with your second finger, that helps. Okay? That's a B7. I'm going to show you some other ways to do a 7th, but that's a B7. Now remember, these aren't random. I'm taking these directly from the most common progressions, 1, 4, and 5, or 1, 6 minor, 4, and 5 in the common keys that we play on guitar, C, D, E, G, and A. Okay, the next one is, oh my goodness, our first bar chord, a B minor. So let me show it to you and then let's talk about it. So you come up here, the bar chords have the little diamond in the root. You'll notice that one of those notes on the 5th string has a diamond around it. That means that's the root. So we're going to be, this chord, since it does not have any open strings, is going to be movable. But let's just learn the B minor version of it first. So I'm going to bar with this first finger at the 2nd fret, all the way down from the 5th string to the 1st string. And then I'm going to add my 3rd finger at the 4th string, 4th fret, pinky on the 3rd string, 4th fret, 2nd finger on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, and then the 1st string is still held down from that bar. Okay, that's a B minor, and the B in that B minor is that diamond note right there. We'll talk more about that in a second. Okay, so the B's, we have a B7 and a B minor. Okay, all right, what do we have next? We've got C's. All right, so let's take a look at the C's. We've got a C chord. Oh man, that's a good one. You're gonna play that all the time. 3rd finger on the 5th string, 3rd fret, 2nd finger on the 4th string at the 2nd fret, 3rd string open, 1st finger on the 2nd string, 1st fret, and then open E after that. Now, technically, you're not supposed to play that 6th string, but I know some people do that, and they get that low E in there. It is a chord tone, but it kind of muddies it up when we play it like that. So it's really supposed to be accurate, going from the 5th string down. And that's a C. Okay, take a look at the next one. Let's get to our D's. Now this is a 4-string chord, so I'm not playing all 6 strings or 5. I'm playing just the bottom 4 strings. 4th string is open. 1st finger on that A on the 3rd string of the 2nd fret. 3rd finger on the D on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, and then I'm going to squeeze my 2nd finger on that 1st string at the 2nd fret. There's a D. And I'm not hitting all these other strings, I'm just hitting the bottom 4 strings. Okay, let's go to E. Or, I'm sorry, we skipped one. Let's go to D7. So I'm going to switch my fingers around. Hit my 1st finger is going to go on the 2nd string at the 1st fret. 2nd finger is going to go on the 3rd string at the 2nd fret. Squeezing my 3rd finger on the 1st string at the 2nd fret. Now, if this is going too fast, just, you can always slow down the video, hit that little gear icon, and that'll slow it down. Or you can always just pause it and look at the PDF. So we've got a D, and then I've got to switch my fingers completely around to get to the D7. So those are two that often get confused because they look alike. They're just kind of reverses of each other. All right, let's go to E's. We're 7 chords in. All right, E, here's a good one. 3 fingers are involved with this one. 2nd finger is going to be on the 5th string at the 2nd fret. 3rd finger is going to be on the 4th string at the 2nd fret. 1st finger is going to be on the 3rd string at the 1st fret. Everything else is open. There you go. Good E chord. Oh man, that's a good one. Just hammering on that, I could be Willie Nelson. Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain starts with that. All right, that's E. Now, one of the easiest of all chords, if you take that 1st finger off, we get an E minor. That's probably one of the easiest since it only involves 2 fingers, your 2nd and your 3rd finger. They're on the 5th and 4th string at the 2nd fret. That's usually one of the easiest chords to play. E minor. E major with 1st finger down on the 3rd string, 1st finger off, we have an E minor. All right, let's take a look at the next line down. If I put a 1st finger back on the 3rd string, but take off my 3rd finger, so I'm going to take this one off, I end up with an open E, 2nd finger B, open D, don't mute him out, let him ring, so everybody's got to get up on their tippy toes. 1st finger on that G sharp on the 3rd string, 1st fret, and there's an E 7th. Remember, the chords are either going to be major, minor, or 7. Now, if you're just a beginner, I know this is a lot of forms I'm throwing at you, but this is kind of where, guitar playing just boils down to, is these chords. You're going to play these chords a ton as a guitar player. So just try and tackle maybe one a week, and you eventually, after a month or so, you will be able to play all of these 15 chords and have them memorized. That's the idea. Okay, what's next? All right, oh my goodness, here we go. We got an F chord. Okay, this is another one of those bar chords, a movable chord. That little arc you see in the chord block there is meaning that a finger is holding down more than one string. Here it's holding down at the first fret. So it's holding down all of these. And now I'm going to reach over with my third finger on the 5th string at the 3rd fret, pinky on the 4th string at the 3rd fret, and I'm going to put my 2nd finger on the 3rd string at the 2nd fret. Now you got to have a really strong hand for that. I did a series on how to do bar chords. The link is in the YouTube description down below. If you're still working on getting the hand strength needed for bar chords, check out that series. It takes you through 3 workouts that'll get your hands strong enough to do bar chords. Okay, so there's F major. If I take my 2nd finger off, then I have F minor. Strong hand, strong first finger. That's what this is all about. Now remember, those diamonded notes, I can move those and to get to other chords. We'll talk about that in a second. Only 2 more. We've got a G. Now, you can do this multiple different fingerings. I wrote it down here with your 2nd finger on the 6th string at that 3rd fret, 1st finger on the B on the 5th string, then open, 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 and then 3rd finger down here. You can do that. That's great. That's a great way to do it. Another option is to switch things around and put your 3rd finger where the 2nd was, 2nd where the 1st one, and pinky where the 3rd finger was. So either way is fine. Now, when you're learning these chords, ideally you don't want to have to look. You want to be able to look at the music or look at the song that you're trying to play, and you don't have to look at your hand. So once you kind of get the fingerings down, try and see if you can form the chord without having to look. Just know where those fingers are supposed to be. A little way to do that is just kind of put your hand down, bring it back. Whoop, there you go. Okay. All right, so there they are. Those are the 15 main chords that you need. If you want to call yourself a guitar player, you got to have those chords memorized in your vocabulary, your chord vocabulary. So now, I just kind of gave them to you. I know that some of those are much harder than others. So flip that page over, and let's take a look at page 2, and let me show you some different things that we can do with these chords. So first of all, we talked a little bit about movable chords. So let's kind of talk about that a little bit more. Basically, what that means is that little diamond is telling you the root of the chord. So in the first case, we had a B minor. Or actually, let's go back to our F. It is pivoting everything off of this diamonded note here on the 6th string. So this is an F major. But if I move this up 1 fret to this note, which is an F sharp, move the whole shape up, I have an F sharp major chord. F major, F sharp major, same shape. I'm just moving it based on what this 6th string note is. What if I wanted a G? Well, I could just scoot it up a half step. And there's a G. But Steve, I thought you said this was a G. Yes, this is a G too. There's more than one ways to play a G. Oh my goodness, they're everywhere. G's are everywhere. There's G's, there's many different ways to play each chord. But that's just another one. If I wanted an A flat chord, I scoot up to where an A flat is on the 6th string, and I do that same shape, and it's A flat major. If I take my 2nd finger off, it's A flat minor. Remember we had our F minor down here? Same shape. I'm just pivoting off of this root note here. F minor, A flat minor. Same shape. Now, this is the one chord that I wanted to throw in there too. So that way you have a movable form in majors, minors, and in dominant 7ths. So if I take my pinky off, let's go back down here to F. I take my pinky off, and I add my 2nd finger down here on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. I get an F7th. This is the dominant 7th. All right, this is a movable form. So if I wanted a B flat 7, how would I play that? Well, figure out where a B flat is on the 6th string, F, F sharp G, G sharp A, B flat, make that shape, and there's a B flat 7 chord. So that's how these movable chords work. Now, I realize that it takes a lot of hand strength to do that, so I encourage you to check out that free playlist on how to play bar chords. It will guide you through all of those techniques and exercises to build up your hand for these. Now, you can have roots on the 6th string, you can have roots on the 5th string. So there's our 5th string, that's an A, there's an A sharp, there's a B, there's that diamonded note on the B. So I formed my B minor. If I wanted a B flat minor, where would I need to go? Well, scoot this whole shape down a half a step to the B flat here on the 5th string, and there's a B flat minor, okay? B minor at the 2nd fret. Where's a C minor? Well, there's a C. Put my first finger there and form the rest of the chord. And there's a C minor. Now, I wanted to slip in one extra chord that's movable as well. Take a look at that in the last chord on that first line on the 2nd page there. I threw in this form. It's only using the middle 4 string, so it's not using the outside 6th string or the outside 1st string. I'm just using those inner strings there. But you notice that C there with the 5th string, 3rd fret, that's got a diamond around it. This is a C7, so if I move this around, C sharp 7, D7, depending on this 5th string note. And so there I've given you multiple ways to play a major chord, a minor chord, and a dominant 7th chord, open as well as ones that use these bar forms there. Now, I realize that bar chords are a little bit hard, so is there a way that we can simplify these chords? Yes, there is. If you're just starting out, an easy way, just kind of an easy way to simplify any chord is to play just the top 3 notes of that chord. So if I'm, have an A, here's an A. If I wanted to simplify that and not have all of these things hitting down, I can just play the top 3 notes, these top 3 strings, the 2nd, 1st, and 3rd strings. So the notes on those, if I switch my fingers around here, I could put my 2nd finger on the 3rd string at the 2nd fret, 3rd finger on the 2nd string at the 2nd fret, and then last string open. So to see how it's just the bottom half of that full A, switching your fingers around. So you can simplify any chord and make it into a 2 or 3 finger chord, or 1 finger or 2 finger chord, by just playing the top 3 strings. Let's try it again. What about that B minor? Oh, that's got a big bar. That's hard to play. All right, well, is there an easier way to play that? You bet. Let's play the top 3 notes. What are the top 3 notes? These? If I switch my fingers around, put my 3rd finger there. Hey, this B is also a tonic, a root, so I can move that. Here's my simple B minor, 3rd finger, 2nd finger, 1st finger, easy to play. If I move this down a half step, B flat minor, B minor, C minor, D minor, and work your way up. That's an easy way to do it. What about a C chord? There's a C. Hey, if I play the top 3 strings, I'm just left with a 1 finger easy C there. So that's some easy ways to learn these chords. You can take any of these chords, just play the top 3 strings, and you've got a simple way to play that chord. Okay, there you go. There's 15, the 15 most important chords as a guitarist, and I threw a couple extra in. So I think there's, 17, or even with the simplified ones, there's even more than that. So we gave you all that we could there. If you want to be a guitar player, these chords are the most fundamental ones that you're going to need to know. Work on these first, and then you can go out and branch out from there. Hey, if you want to learn more about how these chords work, I did a couple of series on it. We've already talked about the How to Play Bar Chords series, which you can scan the little QR code there on the PDF, and that will get you to that playlist. It's all free. There's a PDF, long PDF that goes along with that. The other one is the chords that everyone needs to know, the full course of chords you need to know. There's many different lessons in that and workouts on playing these chords back to back and switching chords, all of that sort of stuff. It's all free. Just scan the QR code there. I hope that's helpful to you. Don't be intimidated as a beginning learning guitarist. Just work on these and that you'll find that this will cover just about most of the songs you're ever going to run across. Hey, I'm Steve Krenz for Guitar Gathering. Thank you for joining us for this quick little lesson. Learn all you can, and we'll see you next time.